So recently, I took a look at the knight armigers. Now it's time for the bigger boys, or bigger brawlers. The knight, Crusader, Gallant, Preceptor, Canis Rex, whatever you want to call it, or Knight Questoris class, that's what's in this box. Plus a little pilot that is completely useless unless you play it as Canis Rex. So, on the side we see the some of the variants, or most of the variants. On the back, we see some of the variants, and we see Canis Rex with all of the Canis Rex details. A little blurb on Canis Rex. And let's get the box out of the way because it's not really the important part of this video. So we have here my Knight Crusader. Now I've made a lot of special modifications, if I'm to quote Han Solo. But a lot of the model is still pretty much the same. Like in some places I've made heavy modifications, like you see on here with the rapid fire battle cannon being a double battle cannon. Now there was a relic in previous editions that for one of the houses that you do that essentially doubled the output of the battle cannon. I was like, yay, let's make a double battle cannon. Plus the, I think, Knight mobile game lets you do that. I just wanted to make a Knight banner make a Knight cannon that looked interesting, and I felt that the space on the side of it looked a bit bland with the ammo dump moved underneath, so I moved the ammo dump to the side, moved the banner I put a banner on the side, which resulted in me having to make a new banner for the bottom of it. Thank you, Canis Rex, for giving me a second bottom banner. The heraldry on the pauldron took ages, and I still haven't quite worked out the Knight House icon. I've come close with the one at the bottom, on the bottom banner, but that looks more like an Oblivion portal than a Banksia plant with swords in front of it. So I'll have to work out something in future when I get up to doing the heraldry on all of them's pauldrons. So, the Knight Crusader kit. Is it worth nearly $200? Or Knight Preceptor, or whatever they want to call it. Imperial Knight. Is it worth 200 Australian at this point? What I'm about to say might offend people. No, it isn't. Don't pay full retail for this thing. Get this thing on sale. The problem with both the Questoris and the Armiger class is the legs are in fixed poses. This means you can't just go ahead and give it a more interesting pose, or not have them all have the same leg poses. Now the Armigers, you can change that around. You could, to some degree, like you could put one of them having both of these legs on it and another having both of these. But with this thing, it's noticeable when you have more than one. And, well, yes, this is now a 10-year-old, the base of this kit is now a 10-year-old kit. That doesn't excuse the fact that it isn't posable on the legs. And you can pose it a bit at the waist. The arms are semi-posable, but often run afoul of the shoulders. On the shoulders' sake, you can remove them. I've chosen to leave them loose because it makes it easier to transport, easier to pack the thing down for travel. At least you can now, at least from the era of Knight Renegade and the Crusader kit becoming, the Knight kit being expanded to be the Crusader kit, you got the option for top carapace weapons. Funny enough, that pin is just bigger than the pin slot on the Armiger, so you could give it a top heavy stubber, and can't really give the Armiger the... No, you can't fit the missile pod into the armor. That would have been hilarious. You just end up with this tiny little knight and a giant missile battery. Mind you, that would be some variability in armigers that I would quite like. Don't get me wrong. I like the idea. I like the options that they have already, but they need more. The Questoris kit is nice. Certainly an interesting time to paint. But at this point, not everything wants to go together properly with it. I mean, sure, this one was from 2020, but even then, I had issue getting the back engines to properly go together, leaving giant seams, and I still haven't got around to buying plastic putty to actually use on it. Yeah. I just wanted to paint the thing up. I didn't care so much about plastic putty for it. It is a good kit. And it gladdens me to see that the more expensive versions or more expensive siblings to it in the what are we? Cerastus pattern and Dominus pattern both have more posability in the legs. I think the Cerastus especially has it. But it's like a $200 kit, and the legs are stuck in one pose without a lot of cutting and potentially damaging details. Don't get me wrong, if you're really committed to it, you can do it. And I know people who have, including one of my mates, whose Crusader has wrecked its way through anything I've sent against it, be it my own armies or my friends when I teamed up with him. Yes, also, on the subject of special modifications, the heavy flamer under here, I swapped out the traditional barrels for the Sister of Battle flamer barrels because I figured that looked much better. Just figured I'd show that. Might as well show my own modifications. Like, these things pack a lot of punch. I'm not going to deny that. If you want something that will be a very good distraction unit, because the enemy will have to deal with it or it will destroy their army, you go for knights. But they are a resource sink, both in terms of money and in terms of time to paint them. And earlier on, you could do the same kind of damage output as a knight without the same kind of survivability with a couple of squadrons of Russes. Like, your rapid fire battle cannon put out 2 shots. Back when it dropped, the Russ only could do 1 shot per turn with its gun, so you just take 2 Russes. Sure, the knight then could proceed to absolutely destroy you in melee. And also, that is the size of a knight next to one. Now, here is the size of a knight next to a dreadnought as well. Not a dreadnought, sorry, a sentinel. Sentinel is still tiny in comparison. We have a tech priest whose colour scheme is not intended to be the same as my knights, but that kind of happened by accident. A tech priest and a Sister of Battle. Like, knights are huge. People sometimes forget how big knights are. That's why I laugh at my past self for thinking, let's do knights in the same... let's do more than one knight in a month. We have a guardsman and a Primaris Psyker. We have the Sister of Battle with Banner from last month. Well, technically February, but beginning of last month. We have some Space Marines. We have a Primaris Captain and a Firstborn. Like, knights are big. And because Space Marines didn't want to be left out of the big, slightly big monsters range, we have a Redemptor Dreadnought. Now, fun fact, that's going to be the next video. I have a review on that thing in the works, and I probably won't have it painted for that video, because painting that thing would take too much time right this moment, and I have plans that involve a whole lot of Space Marines. Okay, so Would I say this is a good kit? Yes. Do I think it could be a whole lot better? Definitely. For the price this thing costs, it should have proper posability. It also should be a bit more friendly to modifications such as light up eyes. Yes, I said it. People want to put lights in the eyes of their knights. The head should be designed in a way that allows that without heavy drilling. But that's too much. But that's too much like GW thinking about what people want to do with their models, outside of building them up as stock. But yeah, it is a nice kit, and I'm quite happy with the gold recipe I use. Okay, as a side note, here's the kind of collection of bits I've got left. We've got bits for the fist, bits for the top cannon. We've got bits. We've got the front of one of the missiles. We've got chainsword, melter gun, one of the shields, and all of the Canis Rex parts, plus the Preceptor's las weapon and multi-laser. So there's still some bits left over that can be used. There's also a whole lot of detail bits for the Mechanicus if you choose to build it up as a Questoris Knight rather than as a Mechanicum Knight. Or Mechanicus Knight, sorry. Mechanicum, a Horus Heresy. So, with regard to the transfers that I've used on this thing, we've got the normal Knight transfer sheet, which I have gone through and used the Aquilas from mainly. On to the other transfer sheets I've used. We've got, now I'm just going to show one of them that's in varying state of squished, so you might be able to see it. We have the old Imperial Guard transfer sheet, Cadian transfer sheet from before Cadia Stands era. We have the new Cadian transfer sheet because I used bits from both of them. I went through multiple Sisters of Battle transfer sheets to get all that text that you see on the side of the cannon, and to get some of the fleur-de-lis. The swords on the knight, the little sword details on the heraldry, actually came from a double transfer sheet for the Knight Dominus that I ended up scoring years ago. I don't have a Dominus, but I have the transfer sheet from it. So I've made use of bits out of it, including the heraldry from House Cadmus. I want more House Cadmus heraldry in future. So that I can get the swords for the iconography. Now, I don't know if I'll use this, if I'll go down the same route for doing the heraldry on my knight Gallant or Paladin. I probably will, but I'm going to need more iconography if I can get hold of it. We have the Omega and the Crusader. So, interestingly, this edition, there is a lot more rules around bondsmen and the big knights providing, and the Questoris knights providing buffs to the Armigers. The Crusaders one, if I remember correctly, provides ranged buffs. The Gallant allows me to reroll charge distances for my Armigers. The Paladin provides, I believe, pinning and precision strike or something like that. And yeah, one thing I didn't anticipate before this year is that if I get all the models in my knights done, I have a functioning knight army, because I've got the bits. I've got almost all of the bits to complete my Armiger Helverins, not Helverins, my Armiger Warglaves, and I've got these Helverins built up. A few bits, sellers, and leftovers from the night from building Helverins. And I've got 3 Questoris Knights, so 7 model army. It's less models than Custodes. That being said, I don't want to be a horrible opponent to my enemy. So hopefully people bring anti-tank. So yeah. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I've rambled on for way longer than I intended. Just going to make sure it turns. So yes, this thing has been a work in progress over the last 5 to 6 months. I actually started the proper paint job on it in November, and it's finally tabletop ready. Could it do with more work? Yes, the heraldry could still do. It could still do with some heraldry and some more weathering, both over the herald, especially over the heraldry when I get around to adding it. But until then, this is how my Knight Crusader is. I hope to bring you more Imperial Knights content in the future. Thank you guys for watching. For more, hit subscribe. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye. These things require so much painting.